Hello, hi everyone. I'm Vijay Nasani. I'm from Hyderabad. I'm a pharmaceutical graduate and pharmaceutical employee. For the past few months, I've been giving my valuable information regarding COVID-19 to my friends nearby and neighbors. Right now, I'm with you with the subject COVID crisis 2021 and Corona secrets. I'm here with you with a few parts of Corona secrets. What I mean with the subject is that over the over the pandemic, you might have seen so many things. You might have come across so many situations like why this could have been happened like this. So there might be few problems which you might not have come across the solutions with. So right now I am giving the solutions to you on the same aspect. So in the first part, I wish to give a secret of how corona spreads through air or naturally, what is airborne infection and how it spreads easily and how is it related to COVID-19. So let me clearly explain. So this is not the right, I don't think this is the first kind of a disease which is spreading through air or airborne transmission. There were few diseases earlier like pulmonary tuberculosis is one kind of an infection which was clearly transmitted through the airborne. So similarly, a majority of the tuberculosis or chest hospitals were located outskirts of the city or a town. On this basis, I would like to give valuable information on how the corona spreads through air. The answer is very simple. As you all know, whenever we cough, sneeze, droplets or the particulate matter exists and in the air, and that kind of matter when inhaled by the other person, it gives infection to the person. Similarly, corona spreads. Now I would like to give the same information in detailed way. So let me clearly show you if those people who are not frequently much aware about science and scientific knowledge, let me clearly give a small example. Like the size of a normal droplet is approximately 60 to 120 microns. That is approximately the size of a hair. So if you cut the size into half, that is a droplet, and into half, that is a aerosol. So you might be coming across several particles. Like if take it example for granted, if I spray small particles here, you might be seeing a free floating of particles down. So this is nothing but the droplet. So almost there will be little aerosols in it as well. So similarly, you also have this kind of sprays and room fresheners which also gives fragrance throughout your room. And these all kind of things which are free floating and which are not visible to our naked eye are called aerosols. The first time when I came to know about aerosol is in my +2. There was a subject which is zoology. In this subject, in environmental science, I have a chapter of aerosol. I am really thankful for my professors or lecturers who has given a detailed information about aerosol so that I could brief to you right now. So you can see, beginning of this pandemic, the Japanese scientists have conducted a small mock drill in an enclosed surface wherein two people were exposed to the frequent the particulate matter which while they were talking. So all the things were recorded in a supercomputer. When the person is talking normally, the exposure was little less, and when he coughs or sneezes, the particulate exposure was very high. So this is how they understood aerosol transmission happens in a particulate matter, and it easily spreads from person to person in an enclosed surface. As you can see, the majority of the people who were exposed during the pandemic season was majority of the people who were working in the offices, clubs, or convention centers, or as you can say even schools, and majority of the shopping malls, and which are all the enclosed surfaces, there the probability of this aerosol exposure is very high. That's how even this pandemic, which is having the highest size exposure of particulate matter in the form of droplet nuclei has a range of 5 to 160 feet. This is how the transmission happens. So if you see here, the person was either talking or coughing. Let me take an example. The approximate size of this particle is 20 micron. So this particulate matter took 4 minutes approximately to freely fall down. So this particulate matter, which is of 10 microns, took 70 minutes to freely fall down. So, but the aerosol particle which I am talking about is the size of 1 to 3 microns, and it took approximately more than 20 minutes to free fall down, and depends on the surface or the place where it travels. So like there was a woman, this woman when she coughs or sneezes, a large amount of droplet nuclei releases. Like as you all see, you might get it out. Other than talking or coughing, what could be the other reason of frequent exposure of aerosol? As you all know, there's a sneeze. The speed of the sneeze is 100 kmph, and when we sneeze, lots of bacteria or viruses released into the external surface outside in the atmosphere, and when these particulate matter were inhaled by other person, the transmission or the whatever we say, the infection happens. And majority of the cases, as you all see, I am giving you a small example of how the droplet particle size matters from droplet to micro aerosol particle. So if you take like droplet may range from 20 microns to 1 micron, the aerosol may range from 0.5 to 0.2 micron. So here I am displaying the settling velocity of how much micrometer per second it travels. So like 1.2 micrometer per second it travels, and how much distance it settles, and 72 micrometers per 1 minute. This is how the exposure or the traveling velocity of the aerosol particle is very less. That's why even though the transmission is very high, the aerosol particle exposure is very high only in the enclosed surfaces. That's why majority of the people who are working in enclosed surfaces like banks, corporate offices, and wherever the places they are, like government sectors, whichever the place they are working with, they have got frequent exposure to corona in wave 1 and right now in wave 2. As we all know, like wave 2 till March or April the offices were open, and right now majority of the offices were closed, and there was a part employment only up to 30 to 40% because on the basis of the same reason. So as you all know, as you were seeing in the same reason, like the settling velocity of the particles differs from area to area. So if the same settling velocity of droplet nuclei may vary in an open surface, but in enclosed surface it is more. Why? Recently one of my friend has asked me, Vijay, can you please explain about this aerosol transmission? Earlier there was a slogan like stay safe, stay home, and you will be safe. But right now, even though we stay at home, there was a lot of chance with the aerosol transmission. Do we really get a chance of transmission through aerosol? I said no. Why? Because the contaminant exposure of aerosol may vary from area to area. So it is, as I told you earlier, the large droplet, the smallest microns or the droplet nuclei travel up to a distance of only 10 to 20 meters as per the recent guidelines which the government bodies have given. So in this case, only the enclosed surfaces, the aerosol particulate matter exposure is high. Otherwise, in an open surface, you are not exposed. So that if you go to an outside front, but only that case where the people live in large numbers, and wherever you go, like hospitals, market yard, and other places, in these kind of places, whenever the person are not frequently using the mask, in these situations only the aerosol exposure may happen to you if you are also not using your mask properly. Otherwise, you are little safe. This is how the aerosol exposure happens. So you might get it out right now. If you are still unaware about aerosol, I will let you know clearly like what is aerosol in a very clear-cut manner. Supposingly you just came from outside and your mother started cooking and you are smelling delicious. It might be a chicken curry or masala mutton. So supposingly your neighbors are also cooking some delicious food. You might taste it, smell it, and this is nothing but a steam. Steam in the form of aerosol is coming to you. And another thing is like recently, if you are in the pandemic season, if you take a call to clean your home with a even though with a vacuum or a normal wet cloth, the next day immediately you get a blocked nose. This is also because of the aerosol particulate matter, and even gas, and even solid. So like solid, as you know, the dust mites and everything exists in the form of aerosol. So this is how the aerosol exposure will give a major risk to you for exposure of corona, but not the regular aerosol or normal living condition at your home. So please kindly take a note. Dear friends, on the basis of this reason only, majority of the people have given a call that please kindly use a mask and sanitize your hands and maintain a physical distance. But the priorities went wrong. Majority of the people thought that so majority of the infection happens through touch, so they have used most of the sanitizer and they kept a mask aside, and even the distance was not even maintained. But the priority accordingly is that mask, distance and sanitizer. Even though you do not have sanitizer, if you are little far with a ideal distance also, if you are having a good mask, that gives a lot of protection from you from the aerosol transmission. And let me clearly show you once again. Like as you see, the disease is very severe. Over a period of 11 days, you can see the normal lung infection has got severe infection. And as you see, if you think that immunity can withstand with the disease, a person, a macho man, approximately like 83 kg, he was exposed to the infection and he lost approximately 20 kg, 63 kg. This is how the nature of the disease. The majority of the cases it is asymptomatic, and incubation period has varied from 2 to 28 days. Right now it is 2 to 5 days. And moreover, majority of the cases were asymptomatic, but those people with comorbidities were seen in the wave 1 and wave 2 with high exposure. This is how the mask other than sanitizer will help you. So majority what happened with normal people was like, they thought like without mask, if I have a sanitizer and if I rub my hands and go to shopping mall or I go to a movie, nothing happens to me. So this is how the majority of the transmission happened to normal people. So on this basis of the same reason, I was clearly aware of the aerosol exposure, and even though I do not have any sanitizer or face shield or hand gloves, the majority of the priority was given to mask only. So these are all the regular day-to-day examples of aerosol exposure, as you can see, like dust mites, deo, hairspray and mist sprayer, pesticide sprayer, everything exists in the form of aerosol. So as you see, also see that tobacco smoke also is a suspension of solid in a gas form. And you might come across a few of your friends who might be having a bad breath. So similarly, that can be a formite exposure. And aerosol is also used in inhalations and nebulizers in several medications. So day to day, as I told you, like a boy approaching his mom with a delicious food, and the taste of food is enhanced by smell in the form of aerosol, and the condensed liquid travels much faster than the normal aerosol form. Here you might get a doubt, like Vijay, you were telling like the neighbors, whatever the cooking were made, or you were sitting in your hall, you are getting the aerosol immediately into your nostrils. This is all happening in a burning flame. It has got highest velocity and it travels very, very fastest manner, and even it settles in the fastest manner on the ground. But the normal aerosol, which we are talking about, the droplet nuclei, travels very slowly, that is approximately 30 kmph, or even the slide which I have shown you, the settling velocity. So this is how the aerosol exposure helps you many people. Like few patients, here you can see a child who was not clearly getting the medication to inhaler was given a tube, and the aerosol medicine was sprayed over here, and she is just inhaling the aerosol particle through the tube, and a small kid. And even we see regularly the room fresheners or the painkillers, whatever we use for relief of pain, usually exists in the form of spray. That is also aerosol exposure. So there are also some dangerous conditions associated with aerosol exposure. As you all know, this is in a coil which generates a lot of smoke, and the smoke in the form of suspension of a solid in the gas as an aerosol free floats, and this creates a lot of allergy infections and severe COPD to those people with asthma or allergy. A similar condition with the cigarette smoke. And fumigation, of course, is a good thing for removal of pesticides and insects like mosquitoes, but some cases it creates a little difficulty for the people. Even the same condition exists with the sprayers, insecticide sprayers. So you might have come across this kind of liquids in your home. You will be charging it over the night, thinking of the removal of mosquitoes. But if you are having a small babies, the liquid in this coil evaporates in the entire room in the form of an aerosol, and the next day your child gets a blocked nose. This is how the aerosol exposure happens. And in the northern part of Telangana or some parts of Maharashtra, I regularly see that few women, for the survival of their livelihood, they make bidis with the help of a leaf and tobacco. So in this due course, what happens is that the exposure of the solid particles in the form of aerosol, when inhaled into their nose, it causes a lot of infections. So approximately out of 100 people, 5 to 10 people will be infected with asthma, COPD, allergy, or pneumonia, or in case in highest cases, the dangerous thing is cancer. So as you know, the tobacco is a cancerous causing agent. Even though with their immunity they might have survived with cancer, but even though they survive cancer, they are prone to asthmatic or lung infections. This is how. But if there is no chance, this is the only cause of livelihood, just take a small mask, put it your nose, and do your work. So this is how you might have got an idea right now, why the patients were taken with a PPE kit in an ambulance, and why a doctor uses PPE kit. And this is an open secret right now, everybody knows it. But the secret, the major thing is that these PPE kits will help these people, either the doctor, staff nurse, or who are the people dealing with the COVID patients, even in the collection or diagnosis of RT-PCR or RH antigen nasal swab. Similar condition. So there in the hospitals, it was a difficult task for the people to communicate. So they have created some sign language to give the message to doctors or staff nurse. So if you think that the PPE kit was only a difficult thing, so this is the most difficult thing. I'm a pharmaceutical graduate, and as a part of my industrial training, I went across the production department, and I was there in the production carrying medicine in the form of powder or pellet. So what happens is that if you are not taking pharmaceutical governing properly, the powder or the pellets, so the ideal temperature maintained at that place would be 16 to 20 degrees centigrade in order to maintain the efficacy of the drug. So what happens is that if the proper care was not taken, even for the eyes or the nostrils or even for the ears, the drug travels in the free floating enclosed surface in the circulating AC and travels into your body through any of the holes, and it creates a lot of complications. So either way, I have seen few people getting chronic kidney disease, proteinuria, and inflammation in the organs, and even a majority of the cases infection in the eyes, and allergic rhinitis, and the most common cause is sneeze. So this is how, if there was a manufacturing of a tablet or a injection or a syringe or even a vaccine, this is the entire process happens behind. So this is how the manufacturing of a tablet or any even the vaccine happens. So now we are all talking about the Bharat Biotech was giving a clear-cut call about BSL-3 safety level. So in BSL-3 safety level, what happens is that the virus particle which they were using in the laboratory, it will not have any chance for the person to carry or free float in the lab, or it will be carried through the equipment used. This is how the safety levels of manufacturing units maintained with different safety levels. The highest safety level is BSL-5. So the message is very clear with the retired Colonel M.K. Sinha. He states that we carry 40 kg ammunition on our shoulders, and safeguarding the country. So on this pandemic season, I request you to kindly wear a mask of 5 to 10 grams approximately to take care of yourself, your family and the nation. And so on the basis, the message is very clear. Even for the women, I would like to request, as in the entire presentation you might have come across the dangers of some steam or aerosol particulate matter. So if you are frequently exposed to the cooking, there might be chances of a little infection to your lungs, or inflammation in your nostrils, or or dryness in the throat or nostrils. So please kindly take care while you are cooking. Normal condition of cooking in the morning, afternoon and evening doesn't create any mess, but anything in a severe range is only danger. And children, whoever were really looking at the video from starting to the end, the message is very clear. The basics are very strong. If you have a strong basics in your education, that will help you at any point of your life. And if this kind of a mask we are not using right now, we may end up with this kind of mask. So right now the crisis of oxygen is happening with the at a risk of survival for external oxygenation supply. So in future we may have a chance, like without any disease of like corona, we may end up carrying cylinders like this. So please kindly plant more trees, and let us give a good health to your future generations. Plant more trees and save environment. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much. And please, if you really like my video, please kindly share the message to your loved people.